6 celebrity homes that were abandoned for years. 1. Courtney Love. In 2018, Courtney Love listed her shabby 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom country getaway in Olympia, Washington, for £256,000 with Virgil Adams Real Estate. The 7-acre property had been abandoned for years and was in terrible condition when it was sold, according to a Variety story. With a guest house, an 8-stall barn, plenty of trees for privacy, and frontage on Swift Creek, the house is situated on a spacious 295,337 square foot property. Love purchased the house in 1995 for $447,000, and when she sold it, it was listed for $319,900. According to the Variety article, in 2011, she was evicted from a townhouse in Manhattan's West Village that she was renting for $27,000 a month due to unauthorized decorative alterations and a fire that started when a candle was too close to the curtains. 2. Boris Becker. In 1997, Boris Becker, who had plenty of money at the time, purchased the picturesque Finca de Son Cole on the Spanish island of Mallorca. After reportedly paying $598,000 for the home, the German tennis star went on to spend a fortune on it, adding a basketball court, a guest house, a pool with a Moroccan-style pool house, and other amenities. In 2004, Becker was fined $255,000 for additions that weren't approved by the authorities. In 2007, the property was put on the market for an asking price of a whopping $18.4 million. No buyer was willing to shell out that much money for this home. Struggling to afford the upkeep, Becker was sued by his gardener in 2011, stating that the tennis player owed him nearly $354,000. As ordered by the Spanish court, the property was confiscated until the outstanding bill was paid. It was confiscated again in 2014 when Becker failed to settle an invoice for building work. 3. Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew has been known for some high-profile struggles. Despite this, he was considered the late Queen's favorite child. In 1986, she gifted her now disgraced son and his wife, Sarah, Duchess of York, a 665-acre parcel of land on the Sunning Hill Park estate in Berkshire. It was a wedding present at the time. This property, which was finished in 1990, was known as South York and the Dallas Palace because of its striking similarity to the ranch house in the television series of the same name from the 1980s. It was also compared to an out-of-town grocery store by several commentators. Sunning Hill Park was sold after the Queen Mother's demise in 2002, when the Duke moved to Windsor's Royal Lodge, where she had previously lived. In 2006, the Duchess and their daughters moved out, leaving the property unoccupied. Over the years, the empty house fell into disrepair, so it came as a surprise when it sold in 2007 for $18.8 million, $3.8 million over the asking price. Some suspected the deal as the number was far too high for a home in that condition. The rumored buyer was Kazakhstani investor Keens Rakishev, at a time when Prince Andrew represented British business in Kazakhstan. 4. David Gilmour. Pink Floyd guitarist David Gilmour's Elizabethan manor in Oxfordshire, known as Hook End, was built in 1580 for the Bishop of Reading. The mansion boasted 11 bedrooms and was a constant on the real estate portfolios of the rich and famous. From Selfridge's owner Sir Charles Clore to Alvin Lee, lead singer of 10 Years After, the house has moved through generations of well-known names. Lee reportedly snapped up the house in 1972 and built a recording studio in the barn. David Gilmour bought the property in 1980 and several of his band's albums were recorded in the studio. He sold up in 1986 and Hook End eventually passed to record producer Trevor Horn, who transformed the property into a luxe recording venue. An impressive lineup of musicians cut singles and LPs there, including Frankie Goes to Hollywood, Rod Stewart, the Manic Street Preachers, Seal, and the Smiths. When Horn's wife was tragically injured in the house, it was put up for sale yet again. Producer Mark White purchased it for $17 million, but it lay abandoned for years after. 5. Liza Minnelli. This Spanish revival mansion in LA's Beverly Hills was purchased in the mid-1950s by Oscar-winning director Vicente Minnelli, following his separation from Judy Garland. During her childhood, the former couple's daughter, Liza, spent much of her time at the house. Minnelli and Garland's relationship was struggling in less than a year of marriage. While Minnelli's career was seeing growth, Garland's was declining after she had been fired from MGM, after working for the company for 15 years. Garland's mental health began tanking. The post-split home on Crescent Drive was lavishly decorated by Vicente Minnelli, with numerous chandeliers and opulent fabrics and furnishings. When the famed director passed away in 1986 at the age of 83, the house was left to Liza, now a big-time Hollywood star in her own right. Minnelli's condition was that his fourth wife, Lee, be allowed to stay in the house. When Liza tried selling the house, Lee refused to leave. Liza sold the childhood home and agreed to pay the new owner's rent. Once Lee passed in 2009, the house remained untouched until 2014. It was left to languish and decay. 6. Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson teamed up with Paul McCartney to record Say 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 in 1983. The former Beatles stayed at Sycamore Valley Ranch in California when the pair were recording the single's music video, and after visiting McCartney there, Jackson fell in love with the place, promising to buy it someday. Some years later in 1988, he acquired the American estate for an estimated $19.5 million. Jackson renamed the property Neverland, after the magical island in Peter Pan, and set about creating his very own amusement park. The musician would often throw lavish parties in the house, which eventually led to some suspicion. Neverland was ransacked by police when allegations came to light, and the singer was charged with child mistreatment in 2003. Drowning in debt, the disgraced singer struggled to hold on to the property, and Neverland Ranch was shut down in 2006.
Welcome to Fun for Days. Thank you for watching. Please leave a like and comment your thoughts about the video below, and I'll see you in the next video.